Look at this. This is the Shortstache X PolarPro Mist PL filter, and it's gotta be my new favorite lens filter. Now, firstly, I want to start by saying that PolarPro have not asked me to make this video. They have not sent me this. I bought this with my own money, and it's a lens filter I've been using for a little while now since I've got it, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly what it is and why I love it so much. But the sponsor for this video are Artlist. So if you hear very carefully in the background, you'll hear some music, and that music and any music that I use in any of my videos are from Artlist. Because finding the right music and assets for your video can be such a challenge. And that's why I use Artlist for all of my content. They have a massive library of royalty-free music, sound effects, templates, and even stock footage. Seriously, it saved me so many hours of time and so much headache. It's so easy to find exactly the type of music and assets that fit your video, and you can even have AI suggest the best bits for you. Plus, Artlist Max Pro gives you access to their entire library and collection. And this is absolutely amazing for any content creator because you've got everything all in one place. So if you're tired of struggling to find the right assets and music for your videos, then click the link in the description below, head over to artlist.io and get 2 months extra free when you sign up for any annual plan. Join now and elevate your content to the next level. So back to the filter. Yes, this is the Shortstache X PolarPro Mist PL filter. So to elaborate on what that exactly means, PolarPro are obviously a company that make amazing camera accessories, predominantly filters for all sorts of cameras, and this is one of the newest filters that they've made in collaboration with a content creator and photographer called Shortstache, who is actually a photographer by the name of Garrett King. He's probably one of the best photography content creators out there. Some of his work is really amazing. I've come to really admire some of the stuff that he does, and his work has this really nice, unique, kind of clean look to it, and it comes from using filters like this, which is basically a very unique filter that he's come together with PolarPro to create. And it's one of a kind, very unique filter that combines a black mist filter with a circular polarizer. So for all you photographers out there, I'm sure you're really well aware of what those two types of filters are. But for those of you who don't really know what that means, a circular polarizer is basically a filter that polarizes light, meaning kind of like shifts ever so slightly, in simple words, not scientific, in very simple words, and correct me if I'm wrong, it shifts the light ever so slightly, which basically in your photography or in your video work, what it will do is by kind of turning the polarizer, what you'll do is you'll get rid of things like shadows and reflections from your footage. So this is especially handy if you're doing kind of landscape photography or photography of buildings that have a lot of glass and reflections, or car photography. Having a circular polarizer on your camera is pretty much a must because it gets rid of those reflections. It gives you this really clean look, and that's combined with that diffusion filter, which is like a mist, that black mist filter, which everybody loves, having that kind of misty, glowy look in their footage, making their footage look much more cinematic. Now this lens combines those two, which makes it such a unique lens because you're basically getting that 2-in-1, and the idea of it is you can throw this on your camera and just forget about it, and it will give you the option of having your CPL and your mist diffusion filter both in one, and you're not going to have to worry about swapping them out every time you need it or having to stack them or anything like that. Just a 2-in-1 filter that does the work for you. Now there's two versions of this filter. The version I've got is the half mist filter combined with the circular polarizer, and that gives you the softest version of that look, a more cinematic, unique look that your footage gets. And the second version is the everyday filter, which is a quarter mist combined with the circular polarizer. Now I don't have that version, but it's basically that everyday one is exactly what it sounds like. It's an everyday one which you can actually throw onto your camera and use it at any time. This one I do tend to switch out whenever I don't want that overly soft look, and I swap it around with this Tiffin Black Satin 1/8 filter, which I like to use, and you can see the difference that that makes. There's a very slight, if you just look at the light bar behind me, you can see the addition of a very slight soft tinge. You might not be able to tell because it's so subtle, but I do like that really subtle look. It just gives a nice look to my footage. But having this on, if I just show you very quickly what that looks like, it will darken the image a lot more. It does add just as much of a soft look to it, and you can see that again from the light behind me. So I've been using this filter a lot, and I did take it out on my trip down to Swansea, where I use this both as kind of a CPL mist filter, but also a little bit like an ND filter, because it does add like this darkening effect. If you look up and add it on, it does darken the image a little bit. No matter where you kind of spin it, it does darken the image. a little bit, which means that it reduces the light by a couple of stops. And that's really handy because if I don't want to add a VND and a CPL and a mist filter, then this kind of does that job for me as well. So I guess it's a little bit of a 3-in-1 without wanting to be, or without meaning to be. Anyways, been really handy, and I think using it on that trip was really good because I was shooting stuff with, obviously I was shooting buildings and stuff which had reflection in them, but I was also shooting kind of like the sea. Just in general, having the option of that mist filter added onto it, giving my footage a little bit of a softer look, really worked well for me, and I think I really enjoyed using it for that. I think I need to test it out in other scenarios, use it in various different types of scenarios as well. And I also intend to use it for things like car photography and just kind of architecture photography and videography. So all of those things will make this a really handy filter to have in my kit. So I really just wanted to showcase this filter because I really loved using it over the past couple of weeks really that I've been using it. I'm definitely going to grab the everyday filter version of this. Now it hasn't been in stock, which is why I haven't been able to get it, but I think it's in stock now, so I'm going to go and grab that. But basically using this, I've been able to play around with so many different creative looks, and I just really love that subtle, soft, cinematic look essentially that it adds to my footage. And that's the kind of style that I'm kind of going after recently, going after that more soft look rather than that sharp bluey look. I do want more of a soft look to my footage, make it more cinematic, play around with the cinematography, play around with lighting, just see the different kinds of effects I can get in my footage. And this has been a really, really good tool to use. And remember, it's specific to your use case. Now, if you're using it as purely a CPL filter, then it will work as a CPL filter, but when you add that additional light in the background, in the foreground, whatever it is, then that mist kicks in, and then you've got that additional mist effect that you'd want in your footage as well. Not only, obviously, is it a fantastic quality filter, but look at that, it looks really, really good. Look at that green tinge that it's got to it. I love that green kind of look that it's got. That's all I can say about it. It's a really, really good filter, and I would recommend anybody who wants that additional cinematic look to try and grab this. I don't know how well of a job I've done of explaining why I like this so much, but it is a fantastic filter. If you guys have any experience with this filter at all, let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are of that, because I really want to know what others think of this filter too. And if you guys have grabbed the everyday filter and this, just do let me know which you think is better, or do you think it's worth grabbing the everyday filter if I've already got this, or is it not worth it at all? Should I save my money and maybe get a different lens filter? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. I'd be really grateful. Or if you have any criticisms or comments about this, or why you think it's not a good filter, maybe let me know that as well, and that would be a good talking point maybe in a future video. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well to see more videos like this coming from me. So until next time, this is Kai24 signing out.